Note for anyone reading this. I have written these notes by day and updated them as soon as I could. If I still am able to, who knows for how long, I will add more updates. Please, if anyone sees this, please help me. The 5th of August, 2021. Everybody is gone. First, I want to let you all, if you are even out there, know a few details about me just so you are aware. To begin with, I live in a somewhat medium-sized city, population around 50,000 or so, and it is connected to a larger city that is within a 10-minute drive. I live with my roommate who tends to come and go, but only typically during the weekdays. So where to begin? It was a late night. I recently came back home from hanging out with a few friends. It was an oddly warm night, nice and clear where you could see all the stars. The light pollution wasn't too bad either, so it was a nice sight to behold on the drive home. I pulled into the driveway and saw that no lights were on. I assumed my roommate was not home, further reinforced by the lack of his car in the driveway. Getting out of the car, I realized that the street was oddly dark. Only a few of the streetlights were on, cascading the street in darkness to the point of near total blackness. I do not know how to describe it. It just felt off, a feeling where everything just felt wrong. I brushed the feeling off, a wave of tiredness overcoming me, and walked inside my place. It was dead silent, to the point of being able to hear a pin drop. This was eerie to say the least, so I hurried to flick on the lights and turn on the TV for a bit. I began to start my nightly routine, drop off my keys, get undressed, take a quick shower, and then watch a little TV before falling asleep. The entire time, I just could not drop that feeling of unease from this night. Since I was heading back home, everything just felt liminal, off. I set the TV to just play the local news in the background while I browsed social media until I felt tired. I know it's not a good thing to do, but in hindsight, I fell asleep around 12:30 a.m. or so. I woke up to my alarm around 8:45 a.m. to get ready for work later in the day. I woke up suddenly and was totally awake, which was odd since it normally took me around 30 minutes to gain full consciousness per se. One thing I realized that is weird was that I couldn't seem to recall any dreams I had. I tend to dream vividly quite every night and have decent comprehension of my previous dreams, especially over time. I rolled out of bed and started to throw on my clothes. It was quiet, similar to last night, but I could hear traffic outside, as well as the sounds of this small city. Normally I tend to drown it out, but for some reason it stuck out to me. The TV was off, which was weird since I don't remember turning it off as I fell asleep or turning on a sleep timer. After I fixed up my hair and brushed my teeth, I grabbed my lunch from the fridge and started to head out the door. As I walked to my car, I noticed that my roommate's car was still gone. Normally he comes back super early in the morning, but maybe he crashed at a friend's or something. It was about 9:15 a.m. in the morning and there was nobody out. Yes, it was a Monday morning, but usually there would be a few people out jogging or walking their pets. But this time it was empty. Cars were in the driveways, so I knew people were home but nobody outside. I shrugged it off. After all, it was early in the morning on a Monday. I got into my car and started on my commute. I pulled out of my neighborhood and onto the main road nearby my house. It was empty. Either I'm really lucky today or I didn't get the memo, I said to myself, smirking, as I realized that I wouldn't have to wait for much traffic. I kept driving towards the freeway nearby and I still didn't see a single car. It was almost like it was the middle of the night when everybody was home. I started to worry that either I forgot that today was a holiday I forgot about, or that the roads were closed off but they forgot the road that led to my neighborhood or something. Weird. I decided to roll down my windows to hear outside, to see if I heard any other cars in the distance, and I felt the warm breeze that was from last night. Normally during this time of the year, the early mornings were quite chilly and never are this warm. I could hear the sounds of cars in the distance, so I decided maybe I'm just crazy or experiencing a glitch in the Matrix moment or something. I kept driving on the barren roads towards the freeway. As I got closer to the freeway, I could see that there were a few cars parked at the nearby gas station, but nobody was outside pumping gas. That off feeling began to come back, and I started to get a bit more worried. I did not know if I am crazy or I am still dreaming right now. Cautiously, I started heading a bit closer to the freeway, the sounds of the cars going by, until I got onto the on-ramp. There was not a single car on the freeway, on either side. The sounds of the cars, too, also seemingly disappeared. "What the hell?" I proclaimed out loud, a knot in my stomach growing. I decided against my better judgment to continue driving to my work, getting on the dead freeway. The drive was faster than I anticipated due to the lack of other traffic, as far as the eye could see. When I got off the freeway in the busier part of the city, there was nothing. Nobody outside, no cars driving, nothing. I started to seriously freak out internally now. I pulled over on the side of the road and turned off my engine. Something was seriously wrong. I had no clue what was going on, and I was seriously freaked out. I pulled out my phone and texted my boss to see if today a holiday, or if even to show up to the office. Upon sending the text, I looked around a bit more. I pulled up nearby a coffee shop and decided to peer in the windows like a creeper, but who cares? Inside I could not see a single person, but I saw people's laptops, bags, papers, etc. on the tables. I decided to further check it out, and I opened the door to go inside. The music was playing, and I could hear the sounds of the coffee machines brewing along with a few other things. The lights were on, and I could see people's laptops currently running in the middle of an application or an email, as well as a few phones turned on and unlocked on the tables. It was like as if everyone just got up and left. I walked outside of the cafe and decided to look around a bit more. In the somewhat distance, I could hear cars, buses, and people, and more. Am I going crazy? Like, seriously? I thought. I wanted to see if maybe, just maybe, I am insane, so I decided to head towards the sounds around the corner. The second I rounded it, it just stopped, as if someone hit the stop button on a song. Sudden, no delay, just gone. There were some cars parked on the side of the road, and I could see some bikes locked to trees and the sort, but not a single soul in sight. I ran back to my car, got in, and frantically pulled up my phone. No response from my boss. I texted him again, and this time decided to text my roommate as well, and my friends too from last night. I needed to know what was going on. Was this some elaborate prank? Am I dreaming? What is going on? I quickly started my car and peeled out towards my work. Surely they had to be there, right? Along the way, there was still nothing, just what seemed to be the remnants of a once-alive city. I pulled into an open parking space at my work and jumped out of my car, forgetting my lunch. I ran across the parking lot, surrounded by my co-workers' cars, into the front doors. Entering, I heard my co-workers, people typing, printers, and more. I sighed a sigh of relief. Maybe I was just going crazy. I walked back out of the doors to grab my lunch, but noticed something off. There was the sound of cars, traffic, in the distance. What? How is that even? I said to myself, knowing full well that there was no cars at all on the way here. A feeling of dread started to take over me, the knot in my stomach tightening. I quickly grabbed my lunch and headed with haste back to the office. I walked in the doors, the familiar sounds pelting my ears, a sense of unease falling over me. I walked over past the reception desk to the staircase up to the loft floor where I work at. Silence. No sounds of typing at computers, no sounds of people talking, nothing. Dead silence, nothing in sight. I rushed over to the areas where I work and saw what I feared. Nothing. I dropped my lunch, the bag slamming down with a solid thud. I was in shock. Nothing. The sight of nothing, the worst I could see right now. Nothing. Panic set in. I frantically started to run around the office, trying to search for any signs of life. Computers on, in the middle of emails and Zoom meetings, each camera with nobody visible. Paperwork sitting on people's desks, printers in the middle of printing, coffee mugs sitting with hot steam rising from them. It's as if everyone just got up, left all their possessions, and walked out. What the fuck? What the actual fuck is going on? I screamed. I dropped to my knees, terrified. I didn't know what was going on or what to do. I ran out of the building and jumped into my car. I've got to be dreaming. This cannot be real. I screamed out loud as I backed out, nearly hitting my co-worker's car, and sped out of the driveway. I headed home as fast as possible, pulling quickly into my driveway. In my panicked state, I did realize something different. My roommate's car was in the driveway. Maybe, just maybe, I thought to myself, he is home, and I am not alone. I rushed inside the door, nearly breaking off my key in the lock, slamming open the door. Inside, the TV in the living room was on but playing static. I ran into his bedroom and saw what I feared. Not a sign of him, but I did realize that his bed was made and his keys were on his nightstand. He certainly was home at one point. My head started to hurt, as it felt like my brain was melting. I started feeling dizzy and headed back into the living room to lay down, my vision spinning, and then I passed out. I woke up around 7:25 p.m., at least what the clock said, to TV static. I thought to myself that maybe that was just a horrible dream and that I passed out last night coming home from my friends and wasn't able to make it to my bed. I got up, my head still in pain, and grabbed the TV remote. I changed the channel to a random movie that was on. At least there is some voices. I grabbed my phone to see that there were multiple notifications on there from my texts. "Oh, thank God," I said out loud. There was a few from my boss asking, "Where were you today?" and other things along those lines, as well as a few from my friends and roommate asking what was going on. A wave of relief hit me as I thought that maybe I was just experiencing one of the weirdest things. Then suddenly the voices from the TV just stopped. I looked up from my phone to see the movie running, but there was nobody in the scenes. The movie kept playing with no sounds at all except for the ambient sounds. But there was nobody in the scenes whatsoever. The camera would just switch between nothingness. That relief that I just had vanished. I went back into my roommate's room and saw that there was still no one there. I quickly headed to the window to look outside the street to see no cars moving, nor people outside. I frantically ran back to the couch and grabbed my phone, texting back my friends and roommate. No responses. I tried calling them but couldn't get anyone to pick up. The pain in my head started to become more frequent and more painful. I couldn't tell what was happening and blacked out again. This time, when I woke back up, I was laying in between the couch and coffee table on the floor. My head hurt, although this time at a single point, as I think I hit it on the coffee table when I passed out. It was now around 12 a.m. I got up and quickly checked my phone again. It was dead. I ran to my room and plugged it in, grabbing my laptop. I turned it on and navigated to Twitter to see if what was happening was experienced by anyone else. As I checked around, there was nothing on it, but I could see updates and new tweets as I refreshed the page. I didn't even know what was happening at this point. Every time I tried to send a tweet, tagging a few people who I knew were in the area, mentioning what was going on, it always failed to send. In dismay, I couldn't even begin to figure out what to do. I felt tired, despite me passing out multiple times, so I decided to just try to go to sleep. Update. After this, a few days went by, and this was the same everywhere I went. People would respond to me, at least for the first couple of days. But after a while, I could not longer respond to any texts, and then I just stopped receiving them. Eventually, my TV and other electronics just stopped working altogether. To kill time, I decided to drive around, trying to find any signs of life. As previous, I could hear the sounds of people and cars and more, but every time I would walk around the corner or get close, it would suddenly stop. I started to keep track of certain things, such as papers, food, cars parked, and more to see if they moved, and I started to notice that these things would change daily, as if people were there, but every time I would get near, they would just leave. I tried to take things or mess with things to see what would happen, but anything I would take would simply disappear overnight from my house or car and leave no signs of them even being there in the first place. Update. stuff has started going missing. My roommate's stuff has completely disappeared. There are no signs that he even lived with me. Not even any contact information in my phone. It's as if he never even existed to begin with. Not only that, but I have noticed that other people's cars are missing, as well as businesses that once existed, that I watched every day since, are no longer there. Just empty shells of their former selves. It's getting warmer and warmer by the day too, no matter the time. I don't know how longer I can go on. Update. This may be my last update. At this point, nearly everything has gone missing. The sounds are still there, one of the last things to remain. I no longer have a cell phone, laptop, or even a car. I'm worried about finding food now and starving. I still have power at least, but that is really all. One thing that I have found though was this old terminal. It seemed to be the only working computer remaining, and I have been logging all these notes that I have written to prevent me from going insane, as far as I can remember, into. I have no clue where this will go when I click publish. I have no clue what to do or how much longer I will last. The signs of people around me are disappearing by the day. Nothing left to even show their existence in the first place. Please, if there is anyone out there, please get back to me. Hello, creepy community. Thank you for watching. I also want to give a big thank you to my members. I truly appreciate your support. If you're looking for a similar story, check out the one on screen. Lastly, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay creepy and see you in the next story.